What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the Yuuzhan Vong Starfighter, the Yorik-et, also known as the Coralskipper. It was bioengineered by the Yuuzhan Vong, not manufactured, as all Yuuzhan Vong ships are organic beings that were genetically altered so that they can operate as ships. They were originally just Yorik coral that would be grown in these large nurseries that were the equivalent of shipyards. Instead of raw materials like Durasteel, the Vong had to set up large vines that collected solar energy, which would then be transferred to the coral. Although each Yorik-et was unique, overall the stats of all these ships are similar. It had a length of 13 meters, or 43 feet, meaning it was about twice the length of a TIE fighter, and half an Ewok longer than an X-Wing. With a top speed of 400 kilometers per hour, or 249 miles per hour, it was shockingly slow, less than half the speed of a TIE bomber, and this means that the TIE Defender is more than 4 times as fast as the Yorik-et. If you're wondering how a coral rock can fly, it is because the Yuuzhan Vong integrated a dolphin basal, an invertebrate creature that could warp space, creating gravitational fields that could pull the ship forward. It was described as creating mini black holes, and because of this, the Coralskipper propulsion system was also its shields and one of its weapons, as the dolphin basal could either direct incoming fire into one of these black holes, or use the gravitational pull to attract enemy ships towards it. Once the enemy was in range, this organic ship would use one of the coral's natural, albeit heavily modified defenses, in which it could fire a piece of coral that had been heated to the point that it was a molten rock. This organic projectile would rip through the armor plating of most ships, as the mini black holes should have already overloaded their shields. In addition to these magma shots, there were a pair of plasma projectors, which may have been modified off an ability that the coral had that allowed it to cut away at other rock. The Yuuzhan Vong pilot would be able to control all of this via something called a cognition hood, known in the Yuuzhan Vong language as a tall yor, an extension of the coral's body, which allowed the pilot to control the ship via thoughts and movements. And what's more is that because these coral were able to transmit information to each other, the pilots could also communicate with each other while wearing these cognition hoods. Strangest of all is the fact that the ships understood the Yuuzhan Vong language and could also speak it back to the pilot. Because they are organic, maintenance is very different for the Yorik-et, and they would be refueled and rearmed by feeding off of asteroids and other rocks. And instead of these parts wearing down, the ships would actually die of old age, though it is unknown what a Coralskipper's life expectancy is. Now, because it didn't have a hyperdrive, it had to be shuttled by larger warships, and this was how the first Yorik-et were ever encountered, when the Praetorian Vong invaded the galaxy in 25 ABY. Throughout the war, which would last until 29 ABY, the Coralskipper would destroy countless ships in the New Republic, though some of these were destroyed and studied by the NR, namely Lando Calrissian, who was in awe of the organic nature of these extragalactic living ships. So that's it for the Yorik-et, also known as the Coralskipper. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you want to check out our social media, or ways that you can help support this channel, be sure to check out the description down below. If you want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications. But more important than all that, remember, the Yuuzhan Vong are insane, and the Force will be with you, always.